As the snow begins to recede from the winter, that is just more than one sign of a new beginning. The old village is beginning to be repopulated to everyone's surprise. Before John makes his presence known, he talks to Rena. I don't know how receptive these people are going to be. It may not be a good idea if you stay here until I check it out. Maybe just stay put. Rihanna emphatically said, "No, I'm coming with you." John says, "Then we should find a way to cover your heritage." Rena realizes that John was talking about how he used an old sweatband to hold her ears and hair down. They walked over into full view. To their surprise, there's no disturbance due to their presence. As they look around, a man simply walks up. "May I help you folks?" John says, "Yes, you see, we've been living in this valley for over 2 years now. I wouldn't be very neighborly if I didn't come and say hi to our new arrivals." The man says, "Quite true." He reaches out to shake John's hand. "I'm George, mayor of this town." "I'm John. This is my wife, Rena. We live on the south side of the valley, so how many of you are moving in?" Right now about a dozen, though we expect more in a few weeks." "Oh, why is that?" Ever since the turn of the war, people have been migrating out of their shelters." "Oh, good to know we're not the only survivors." "You and me both, friend. Now let me both show you around." George shows them around the town and introduces him to a few people moving in. There are only 4 families, but there are children running around the town. One even runs up to Rena and apologizes and then keeps running. There's a mayor rebuilding project going on at the houses and barns that they're going to be used. John and Rena talk it over and decide that they don't have to live in seclusion anymore, though they will remain in the hideaway just in case. Months pass as the town is revitalized. Though there's only about 100 people in it, the town begins to look more and more alive. In the beginning of summer, Rena is shopping in town when she hears someone screaming. When she goes to check on it, she finds that a woman is about to give birth, and there is no doctor in town. "Rihanna, move out of my way. I will take care of it." She gets some of the other women to help and delivers a healthy baby girl. The whole town celebrates the birth as Rena is showered with praises. Inadvertently, she becomes the town doctor at that point. With John's own medical training, he adds to this success, although his medical training is limited to combat type of emergency treatment. They even get to help build their house from the town. Still, they keep humble and all the hard work that must be done. For a year, things seem to be perfect, supplies rolling in and aid to the town's success. The next spring, everyone is planting their fields when a military convoy comes in. Even without seeing those, the hairs on the back of John's neck stands on end. Rena feels it even more due to the fact that she is an elf after all. They are going to the houses for dinner as the military vehicle pulls up front. Soldier yells, "Are you a doctor?" John says, "No, she is." The man turns, "Ma'am, we have a couple injured men here." Rihanna says, "Bring them inside." The injured are brought inside, and both of them are severely wounded. Rihanna, "What happened to them?" The soldier, "We got ambushed by a group of raiders. They took out the rest of the squad before they could even get close." One of the men starts thrashing from the pain, and John holds him down as Rena probes his wound. She ends up pulling out a fragment of jagged metal. John says, "What did you do? Use grenades on him?" The soldier said, "Well, John just yells at the man, "Shut up and help me hold him down." The two hold the man down as Rena sews him up. They move to the next one. The other soldier doesn't move or scream. Rihanna and John work together to make sure he is properly patched up. They ask the other soldiers to leave for a few minutes as they both perform magic. Rihanna is obviously better, but she has definitely taught John a few things. They are able to keep both of the soldiers from dying, but one is currently in a coma. Entering the main room, John addresses the leader. They're stable now, but you'll need to get them back to proper medical facilities as soon as possible. The soldier, oh, thank you, both of you, as he shakes their hands. With that, the 2 wounded men are brought back to the vehicle, and a portion of the group are rushed back to their base. A group of soldiers remain for the night. There is a party to raise morale among the soldiers. Rena and John are hesitant, but join the festivities. The party lasts deep into the night. Most of the soldiers hold themselves and go deep to sleep early. A few remain up and drink very, very heavily. As Rihanna is getting ready to leave, one of the soldiers gets in her way. The soldier, clearly intoxicated. You know, you probably heard a lot this tonight, but I want to thank you for saving our guys. Rena, you're welcome. Another soldier, you know something? You're really hot. Why don't you give us a tour of your town? Rihanna, I don't think so. The second soldier, I really want to show you my appreciation. The first soldier, dude, she's already said no, man. Second soldier, shut the fuck up. He grabs Rihanna by the arm. We're soldiers of the Alliance. That means we can take what we want. He tries to kiss Rena and ends up eating dirt. The rest of the soldiers see this and begin to rush in. The only exception is the first soldier. He runs out of the room. Rihanna begins to beat the crap out of the intoxicated soldiers for a while. She seems to take a sheer delight in the experience as well. One soldier finally gets pissed and pulls a gun. He fires a shot and then points at Rihanna. He says, time for you to play nice. 2 soldiers grab a hold of her, and she holds still because there's a gun still pointed at her head. Rena grins at him and begins to chuckle, still hobbling as he points his gun at her. What's so fucking funny? Rena says, hearing a dead man talk. As the soldier moves in, John lifts up his pistol and drives his elbow into the soldier's jaw. Rihanna gets free, and together they fight the remaining soldier. As one reaches for his gun, John pulls his and puts it on in the back of the soldier's head. Then the NCO in charge runs in. What the fuck is going on? Everyone stops. The first soldier staggering next to the sergeant. The other soldiers are quick to be next to the sergeant. Corporal, take our men into custody. The few soldiers that came in behind them wrestle the drunk ones out of the barn. The sergeant stops the one who started a fight. You asshole. Get him out of here. And the final drunk one is taken out as the sergeant addresses Rena and John. The sergeant takes off his hat. I offer my apologies for the conduct of my soldiers. John says, as long as you make sure they realize what kind of conduct is appropriate and what is definitely not. The sergeant replies, I will, sir. They all need to be reminded of what we're fighting for. He turns to Rena. Ma'am, I hope this doesn't stop you from attending any more of my wounded that may come through. Rena, I do not contemn all of you for the acts of a few. Grateful. Thank you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a few drunk idiots to take care of. With that, the sergeant turns and leaves. John and Rihanna went back to their house. The soldiers were gone before the sun rose again. And once again, the valley is at peace.